This is crazy. Milko was my imaginary friend when I was little. He's not real.
You thought he was imaginary, but Sal, he's not. I'm not.
No, I don't. This is just not
How else
possible.
would I remember the name? Or how to spell it with a C the same way you do?
You wrote it in the sand that day. I saw it.
You called me Milko because you had trouble saying my name.
Okay, Sally, your turn. Can you say Miles's name? Sally Copeland? Miles Copeland. Can you say that?
Milko.
What are you saying? That you're my brother? Miles, this is absurd. I would remember something like that.
You were very young.
Miles, I'm sorry, but I know that you're wrong. I can vaguely remember my parents, and our name was not Copeland.
That's because your mum remarried, right? What I'm saying to you, all that stuff, it happened before all of that.
Before?
We were split up when we were really young. Mum and Gran just wanted to pretend Dad and I never existed, I guess.
And why would they want to do something like that?
Because there were family problems. When Dad got drunk, he did things that he just shouldn't have done.
Will you give me a break?
Never here, and when you are here, you're always drunk. You're weak and you're gutless, Aaron.
I don't want to hear this.
I don't want to upset you, all right? But this has to be somewhere in your memory. If something I can say can just help unlock that for
Yeah, well,
you.
it's just confusing.
I know, but I just need you to hear me out, all right? Please. Dad told me all of this stuff years later. Mum and Dad argued more and more. Now, it's not that they didn't love each other, Sal. They did. They were good times. But Dad's drinking got worse and worse.
You can't take the kids from me. I'm their father. I have a right to see them.
Tell that to the family court.
I think he knew that he didn't have a chance in the local court, so he just took matters into his own hands.
Just gonna be us boys, Milko. You and me against the world. What do you say?
I'm sorry, but you're contradicting yourself. A father who loved his kids wouldn't separate a brother and sister like that.
Sally, he was an alcoholic. In his mind, it made perfect sense.
Well, what about the police then? Or the family court?
I don't know. I think they might have tried to find us, but we don't know. We moved around so much.
Look, I am really sorry, Miles, that you had such an awful childhood, but this has got nothing to do with me. They would have told me about you.
Look, you know what? This is just way too much for you. I'm sorry. This is bad.
Miles, please, you can't expect me to just accept something like this. I mean, it changes everything I've thought about my life up until this point.
And that's why I didn't tell you.
I know that we have a connection.
Sally, I'm not playing mind games with you, I promise. Okay? Dad took me and not you because he didn't think the road was a place for a girl. Right? And it's not that he didn't talk about you. He never forgot you, and he didn't let me forget you either. Finally, one day, we found out about what happened to Mum. There was a report on the boating accident that killed them. We didn't know till then that she remarried. Must have been so hard on you, Sal.
Nan came to pick me up from kindergarten. She didn't tell me for a long time. She couldn't stop crying.
Dad was gutted too. Especially since it was an old paper. They'd been dead for years.
But he still didn't come and find out what had happened to me.
He did, though. We did.
We're gonna go see Sally.
Really?
See if she's all right. Be fun to see her again, won't it?
Yeah.
Well, I would have been 8 years old by then, and I definitely would have remembered if you'd come to visit me, and I don't.
That is because we went to see Nan, to see you. And she wasn't living there anymore. Somebody else was, and they told us that you'd been fostered out. So we tracked Nan down to some local nursing home. And we found out she had Alzheimer's when we got there.
Hello, Nan.
It's Miles, Diana's boy. Your grandson. I need to find Sally.
I remember her there like that. One minute she was her old self, and then the next she was somebody else entirely.
So you believe me?
I really want to, but only if I can get my own memory of it, and I can't.
Dad asked the staff where you were, and they gave us an address in the city. The Fletchers.
If you're looking for the Fletchers, they've gone. Moved last week. Your friend of theirs?
Yeah. Wouldn't have an address, would you?
They've moved to a place called Summer Bay.
And we headed straight up here, Sal. I was down at the beach. Dad was just standing there the whole time, silent. And then
She'll be happy here. It's just you and me, mate.
he just said it was time to go. I don't know what that was about. He never told me, but maybe he lost his confidence. I don't know. I reckon it was one of the few truly unselfish things that he's ever done in his whole life.
Why do you say that?
Sal, he loved you. And he wanted what was best for you. And he knew that you had more here in Summer Bay than he could ever offer you. And since then, it just went downhill. He stopped going to work, his drinking got worse and worse until he died of alcohol-related dementia, and that was 8 years ago.
Miles, I'm so sorry.
Don't be, I'm not. He's better off now than he was then.
If all of this is true, then after he died, why didn't you...
Come and look for you? Sally, I didn't know where you were. When we came here all those years ago, it was just another town. I didn't know it was Summer Bay. And Dad's dementia, those few years were just... they were hell. And when he died, I just... had a chance to start my life. I started to teach and I fell in love and I got married. I had a beautiful daughter, Amber. For the first time in my life, I was happy. And then there was Phuket. Let's just say I became the one thing I promised I never would. My father. Drinking heavily and drifting from town to town. Until one day, I just couldn't believe it. I recognised the sign straight away. And a part of me just thought I should just walk on. But then another part of me thought that if I found you, then maybe I can get myself out of that black hole I was in. And then I saw you. You were wonderful.
I'm glad you decided to stay, but...
Sally, I've just told you the whole story. That is it. If you don't remember this...
I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't think...
Please, try and remember. You remembered, Milko. You saw it in the sand, all right? I wrote that. You saw it. Sally, just look at me. Look at me. We have a connection. I'm Milko.
Milko.
Me and Milko always think the same.
Sally Copeland, Miles Copeland.
Miles Copeland.
Milko, Milko, Milko!
Close enough.
Milko. I remember. Oh my God, I do remember. I remember a woman pointing at a little boy and asking me to say his name, and a man standing there encouraging me. Dad. And I remember a party. We were both blowing out the candles. It was our birthday. We're twins. You're my twin brother.
See, I didn't tell you that.
I remember that. Oh my God, Williams. I can't believe this. Thank you. I can't believe you found me. Thank you for finding me.